Hello everyone, I hope that you guys are doing well. So in today's video I would be explaining what the elemental reaction in the Neverness to Everness, that is also called the Esper ability or the Esper cycle. As you can see on the screen right here, this left hand side, the fidget spinner looking thing is called Esper cycle, right? So as you can see, there are like 6 different elements also called Esper, and on the right hand side you can see the element icon along with their name, right? So this one sun looking thing is called Cosmos, the white one, and the green one is called Anima, the red one is called Incantation, the purple one is called Chaos, and the water looking thing is called Psyche, and then finally we have like light looking thing element called Laksana, right? So these are the 6 elements that is present in the game, and each element have their own attributes that can have its own Esper ability attributes, right? It says right here. Okay, activate the corresponding Esper cycle based on your team characters Esper ability attributes. All right, so let me explain the basic thing. So our main character has like element called Cosmos, right? So as you can see, the Cosmos is at the top of the thing, like top of the circle. So to have like a Esper ability with Cosmos character, it can only have like a Esper ability which are like adjacent to each other, right? So that means the Cosmos ability hunter, the Cosmos element hunter can only have like Esper ability with either Laksana or with Anima. Now if you want to have like a Cosmos cycle ability with the incantation, it cannot happen, right? Because as you can see, I'm talking about Cosmos by the way, because incantation one is farther away from the Cosmos, and there's also like an Anima in between, so it would be like obstructing. Okay, but not only that, it is also far away, so that's why it cannot have like a Esper ability with the incantation. But Cosmos 1 can have with either Laksana or with Anima, right? So similarly, let's move on to the cycle clockwise, right? So we have like Anima, right? So Anima can have Esper ability with either Cosmos or with incantation, because these two are the closest one to the Anima, right? But if you want to have like a with Esper ability with Laksana, it cannot happen because it is farther away from the Anima, right? So similarly, let's move down the circle to the incantation. Incantation have like Esper ability attributes or like have a Esper elemental reaction with either Anima or with Chaos, right? Because these are the closest one to the incantation. So similarly, let's move on to the Chaos, and Chaos can only have with either Psyche or with incantation. So similarly for Psyche, either with Laksana or only with Chaos, right? So for Laksana, either Cosmos or only Psyche. So that's how the Esper cycle work, right? As you can see right here, so this is like this forms a circle. So Cosmos work with Laksana and Anima. Once again, I'm telling for the reminder. Okay, so and Anima works with Cosmos and incantation, so it moves down. Or if you want to do like a set element, as you know that you can only set up to like a 4 element hunter in a team, so you have to be very careful of what type of like a elemental reaction you want to have in your team, right? So you can either have like these 4 or either these 4, right? This left side or either right side, or from this top side or from this side, right? So it depends on your choice, but don't worry, I will be going through in detail so that you guys have like a better understanding. Okay, so these are the 6 elements and also the symbol and how it works. So I've already explained you the basic thing, so let me show you in game, right? So let me minimize this and let me go to the formation. So right, as you can see, let me go to the first team, and as you can see, like I've already told you, this is the main character, right? So this has the Cosmos. Even you can see on the bottom right, this like a no Esper cycle with either of the elements, since I have like put the Chaos and Psyche, 2 Psyche, 1 Chaos and 1 Cosmos, right? So Cosmos is at the top, so it cannot have any Esper ability with the teammates. And as you can see, Fadia, right? So Fadia is psyche element Esper ability. So she has like psyche element or psyche Esper ability, right? So and in the circle, as you can see, it can form Esper cycle ability with Daffodil, who is like a chaos element. And similarly, Haniel is also like a psyche, so she can also have Esper ability with her, right? So let's move on to the next team. So in the next team, as you can see, I've chosen the left side of the cycle, so that is the chaos, Loxana, psyche and Daffodil, right? So if I use main character, I can have Esper ability with only Hathor, right? But if I use Hathor, she can have like Esper ability with Zero as well as Fadia, right? But and similarly, if I use Daffodil, she can only have like Esper ability with Fadia, right? So if I use Fadia, she can have Esper ability with either Hathor or with Daffodil, right? So let's move on to the next cycle, and that is the right side. So similarly, same thing that I've explained. Zero is the top one, so he can only have like Esper ability with Geo1, who is like an anima, as you can see on the circle right here. And similarly, Baisang can have with either Geo1 or with Daffodil, right? So since he is in the middle one, and the closest one is Chaos and Anima, right? So if I use Daffodil, she can only have Esper ability with Baisang, right? So let's move on to the next team. I hope this is clear for now. As you can see, I'm only using the top part. So since now, as you can see, the main character is in middle, he can have like a Esper ability with Hathor and with Geo1, right? But he cannot have with Baisang, as I've already explained in the first part, right? So similarly, Geo1 can have with Cosmos and then Baisang with either Zero or with Baisang, right? As the cycle suggests. So similarly, for fifth, I'm using the bottom 4 elements, right? So same principle goes with same applies here also, right? So Baisang can only have with Daffodil, Fadia can have with either Daffodil or with Hathor, since these elements are there in the circle and the closest one to her. So right, so this is the basic principle of the working of the Esper cycle, right? So, and as you can see, you can only have like 4 members in a team, so you must carefully select the Esper ability or the cycle that you want to do with your teammate, right? So as you see on the first one, since he's alone, he cannot have like a Esper ability, but these two can have with this one, right? So let me use the Nanali. As you can see, now he can have like Esper ability with her or her with him, right? So similarly, it works both ways, right? But these two cannot have like a Esper ability with these two, right? So since they are far away, so that's why it will not work, right? So now let's talk about the Esper cycle elemental buffs, right? So if you want to know what buffs your teammate is having, right? So on the bottom right, as you can see, this middle circle thing, it glows pink whenever you hover a cursor. So let's click on it. And as you can see, since I'm using these 2 element, so I can have like a blossom Esper cycle blossom, so which means it generate 1 11 stem near the target, triggering the Esper cycle, which blooms 11 blooms, and 11 blooms then fly towards the target within the range, exploding every 2 seconds and dealing damage to an area. Up to 3 11 stems can exist on a field at once, right? So whenever you use 2 elements, that is the Cosmos and the Anima, and whenever you switch, don't worry, I will show you in game and explain you there also, but it is just like going to the buffs, so it will activate a blossom effect, right? So similarly, I'm sorry, and each character has like have like a passive skill, right? So as you can see, now since I've already activated the non-early one, so it's not saying to unlock. So whenever if I use non-early let's say in the team, so which I already did, right? So if I switch the character from main character to non-only or non-only to main character, the Esper cycle activates, right? So whenever that activates, because of our passive skill, she fire 10 11 blooms with 1 11 stem, right? So it reduces the interval between each shot to 1 second. So as you can see, her passive ability decreases the cooldown to 1 second. So similarly, as you can see, G1, so since G1 is not in this team, right? So if G1 was there, and as you can see whichever the team is teammate is there in the team, right? There's like a person icon here. So if I had like G1, right, so she has like her own passive, so she has like bosom enhancement, she spawns one additional 11 stem, right? So if we go back to the cycle, alright, I didn't need to close it, so we can only like spawn 3 11 stems, right? But if we use her, as you can see, our limit extends up to 6, right? So 11 stem from 3 to 6. So as you can see, each character have their own passive skill. So and if you want to know how to unlock this, so let me show you with mint. As you can see, mint 1 is not unlocked, right? So okay, so mint 1, so let's read her passive as well. So she expands the 11 bloom damage area, so her AoE expands. So if I add like her on the team, so let me show you how to unlock. So it's like just unlock, right? So it will take us to the let me show you from here also. So let's go to the character and let's select mint. As you can see, there's like a Esper ability right here, right? So let me click on it. So as you can see on the support skill, so for that let me quickly ascend her to the level 2. As you can see, some of the Esper ability are locked behind the ascension level, so make sure you have like up to the level or reach the certain level so that you can like unlock those. So I believe this would be enough. So let me go back to the Esper ability. As you can see, now it is unlocked, right? So this one is still locked, right? So for that, but that doesn't matter, that is like a different thing. But also this one is locked behind the character ascension level 4. So let me quickly do that as well, so that we don't have any doubts left. So with this we have done 3 ascension. Let me do one more. Okay, so now our character is level 60. I believe with level 60 it would be enough. Yeah, as you can see, it is enough, right? So this is all the different thing. But here, as you can see, this is like a blossom enhancement, right? So this is the Esper ability. So my suggestion is like just simply level this up, because whenever you like call her, you will have like a support skill damage, right? It would be increased like higher damage, as you can see, with each level. Although this is not completely related to Esper cycle, but since since you will be using her on the team, so this would be helpful, right? So this one is the Esper ability, right? So blossom enhancement, so you can click on it to activate. Now, so since this is activate, let me go back to the formation, and here let me show you. As you can see, the unlock part is disappeared, like unlock part has disappeared. So that means see our passive ability for the Esper ability blossom has activated. So if she was on a team instead of non-only, our passive will be in use. But since non-only is there, so non-only passive is being used, right? So similarly, but for the two elements, that is chaos and psyche, as you can see, whenever you use 2 characters, Esper cycle ability called Nova is being used, and Nova inflicts on a target for 5 seconds after triggering the Esper cycle. Whenever the effect ends, the target takes a massive mental damage. Alright, and since I have like Fadia, So Fadia passive, also I've already unlocked her passive skills through the character menu, right? So as you can see, she has like her own passive skill. She drains 10% of the Fadia base match XP from the target at 5% efficiency. When the Nova state ends, the total drain cannot exceed 50% of Fadia base match XP. Restore both party stats upon exiting combat. So right, so she has kind of like a drain. She also has kind of like a lifesteal ability, kind of like that. Okay, so yeah, so as you can see, some of the passive are exclusive to their own character, and as you can see, for here I would be having like a 3 elements, right? So that is chaos, anima, and then Loxana. If I had like all 3 elements, I would have been activating the Esper ability called charge, right? So let me show you here, right? So here, as you can see, I have like both anima and Loxana. So let me go back here. As you can see, charge has been activated. So depending on your character, it happens. So right, so for Esper ability charge, if you add like these 2 character and then you have like unlocked their passive, so there, as you can see, the grants the active character 10 additional ultimate energy when the Levin bloom hits the target affected by Remora, right? So Remora activates when you have like these 2 element, right? So each element have their own buff, so don't worry, I am showing you, right? So as you can see, what the Remora is, the target enters the Remora for 5 seconds after triggering the Esper cycle, slowing their movement and attack speed. The effect decays over time and it will have like a shorter duration if repeatedly applied. So okay, so after each use, their duration gets shortened and shortened. And since I have like had her in the team, so as you can see, I have not activated her passive skill. So let me go ahead.
Clarity.
As you can see, if you click on unlock on the menu right there, it would take you directly to this page, but I was showing you the long way because even without the Esper cycle, you guys should know where the things are, right? So here, as you can see, I can activate. So that means, let me go back, let me close it, let me go back to the formation. As you can see, the delay warning has been activated, right? So it deals damage equals to the 150% of the attack whenever the Remora is applied to a target already affected by a Remora. Okay, so similarly, if I use Iskia have his own passive ability. So Blossom, I've already told you, right? So there's also like a Hexed, since anima and incantation elements are there, right? So if you use the Esper ability in between these 2, it will deal an additional instance of follow-up attack damage to the target equal to the 20% of anima and incantation damage taken within 12 seconds after triggering Esper cycle. So right, so that is called Esper cycle Hex. And charge, I've already told you, you would be needing all of these 3. So by using all of these 3, you will be getting additional 10 ultimate energy when the Levin bloom hits. But what for that? Okay, so also you can enhance it by having passive ability of their certain character, right? So as you can see, Cheese grants additional active character 4 additional charge. So similarly, Edgar grants 120 ultimate energy instantly when the character triggers charge using a support skill. Disables ultimate energy gain from Levin blooms when hitting slowed targets afterward, like so it has like a cooldown. And then we also have like a Scorch, right? So let me show you. For Scorch to work, you would need to have like incantation and chaos element hunters, right? So whenever Scorch is there, Scorch inflicts the this ability inflicts the Scorch on target for 15 seconds, dealing DOT after triggering Esper cycle. So right, so if I had like let me show you right here. So now I can successfully activate Esper, Scorch, right? So as you can see, it's activated, it even says right here. And since like I haven't unlocked the passive, so let me do the one.
Back to work again.
As you can see right here, And if you are confused where the Esper ability for the certain character are, it's near the support skill right here. And you can even go back to the Esper cycle and click on unlock. It would take you directly to the ability menu, and then you can simply, if you have like enough, if you have like this material, you can click on activate, right? So let me go back, and where's the formation? Right here, right? So Remora is applied when these two are here, Blossom whenever these two are here, Hexed for this two, right? So charge whenever we have like 3 elements, and Scorch for this one, right? And Stain for these two, and Discord for all these 3, and Nova for these 2. Alright, so all of them are there, right? So for here, let me show you. In here, Discord, Nova and Scorch, all of them are activated. As you can see, Nova is activated whenever you have like these 2 elements, right? And Scorch whenever you have these 2. And for Stain, you need these 2, and for Discord you would be needing these 3, right? Deducts a percentage of target break. Break is also called the shield, right? The shield which enemies have when they are simultaneously affected by the Nova and Scorch, right? So, and Daffodil has like a passive ability related to, in relation to the Discord, right? So whenever this passive ability, all of this passive ability are in relation to the Esper ability, their Esper ability, right? So for here it says charge, for X, Remora, and then all of this, right? So that was the each Esper ability and buffs, right? So let me go back to the character by pressing C. If you want to know how the Esper ability are like filled and all, so for that, come to the Esper ability right here, click on basic attack, right, and go to the attributes and scroll down. As you can see, the cycle red, right? So each basic attacks fill up 33 points of Esper cycle, right? So let's say the Esper cycle has like 100 points, right? So one basic attack will instantly fill 33 Esper cycle points. Okay, so similarly, if we go to this skill also has like a same thing, right? And similarly, ultimate does not fill the Esper cycle, right? In this case, right? So let's move on to the GU1. So similarly, our basic attack, as you can see, our basic attack fills up 54 Esper cycle points, right? So similarly, our cycle, as you can see, skill only fills up 12 points. So, and ultimate does not fill. So those are, so this depend on the character as well, right? So as you can see, her character, now you might be confused, it might increase with level. As you can see, I've already maxed here, so you might be wondering this is the maxed level attribute, but no. Let me show you here. As you can see, she's level 1 of basic attack. So let me go down to the attributes. As you can see, even in level 1, she can like fill up 48 points of the Esper cycle, right? So let me level up. Even by level up, as you can see, there's like a no change at the moment, right? So all the other attributes are increased, but the cycle rate remain the same, right? So it is not like totally dependent on the level, but rather the ability itself, right? So as you can see, basic attack fills up 48 points and skill fills up only 14, right? So yeah, as you can see, only fills up 14. Yeah, even in level 2, as you can see, there's like a no change, right? So, and ultimate does not fill up. So similarly, each character have their own ability attributes, right? So in Bai Sang case, he fills up 29 Esper cycle meter with the basic attack, and then skill with only 6 points, and with ultimate no point, right? So let me show you in the combat demonstration. So I hope this was clear, because each character have like their own Esper ability attributes, right? So if you are confused how to check, open the character menu by pressing C, or by pressing this icon, right, the person icon, click on it and come to the Esper ability and click on basic attack, and then it should be on description by default. Click on attributes, scroll down, and then you can see the cycle rate. Okay, and similarly, and the first icon close near to the support skill is their cycle passives as per cycle ability, right? So whenever you have like ascended to certain level, this would be available to unlock. So, and make sure you guys like upgrade it, right? And without, as you can see, she is not ascended, so that's why it is showing locked, right? So this Esper ability, passive ability, is locked behind the character ascension level 2. But if you reach let's say level 60 or even level 80, all of this Esper ability will be available to unlock, right? So those are the basic thing, right? So here, even in the UI, let me show you. As you can see, this one, the element is called the Esper cycle meter, right? So this is the kind of like a meter. So let's say I've already told you the ability attributes, right? So his basic attack, so let me go you once again.
What should we do today?
His one basic attack fills up 33 points, right? So if I had like 100 points, it would fill 33. So I had to hit like 3 basic attack to fill up this one complete Esper cycle meter, right? As you can see on the right side, you have like your teammates, right? And look at the, if you look at the cursor pointing on the icon, as you can see, it will show you the status of our Esper ability meter. So she's kind of like 20% filled at the moment, right? And if you look at the Hathor and then Baisang, those are like completely empty. Well, not Baisang, Baisang has like at least some left. So let me revive her.
Stick to the plan.
As you can see, our Esper cycle meter is not filled. If I go change into Baisang, it is filled some up to like 10%, let's say, or 10 points. So let me call G1. As you can see, our Esper cycle meter is like almost half filled. So let me show you in combat how to fill. And like whenever you are going to the dungeon, let's say like kaleidoscope, and dungeons, by the way, are like this hexagonal shape icons throughout the map, right? So you need to go to the location and then activate hit, right? So and then the elemental weakness are shown right here, and you would also need the character pixel that is called the stamina in this game. Okay, so let me enter. Clearing this will give you the EXP and all, right? So let me as you can see, basic attack slowly fills up, right? So it's not completely 100 points to fill up the meter, but you can see each basic attack fills up 33 points of the Esper cycle, right? So as you can see, fill up your Esper cycle meter. So let me come here. Those things are chasing me, but as you can see on the right side, there's like a pulsating icon, right? So in GO1 and in Hathor, that means I can perform Esper ability with these two, because if you saw on the chart, these two are closest one to the Cosmos one, right? So even though the GO1 and Hathor Esper cycle is completely empty, but since the our main character one, the Cosmos Esper cycle meter is filled, I can perform Esper cycle ability with these two characters, right? So let me perform one with the G1, right? So for that, attack and then call. As you can see, this one is called Blossom, and as you can see, it dealt some damage, right? And since our Esper cycle meter is not filled, so that's why I cannot perform any Esper cycle ability with either of the characters, right? So let me do it once again. As you can see, now since it is filled, I can perform Esper cycle ability with either main character or with Baisang, right? So let me switch. As you can see, Hexed right here, so I just perform Hexed. Okay, so since they are dying quickly, let me show you once again. Okay, I'm almost filled. Now as you see, now since G1 is the only closest element in this cycle for incantation, I can like element is called and our element is anima, right? So as you can see, it perform Hexed. So right, we are almost like our Esper cycle meter is completely filled, right? Almost filled. Okay, as you can see, now since it's filled, I can perform Esper cycle Esper ability with the. So right, it perform Remora, as you saw right there. Let's try again. Our ability is almost filled. Esper cycle meter is almost filled. Okay. Now as you can see, since it's filled, I can perform with these two. And there's even like audio cue.
Here I am.
Now as you can see, it perform Nova. Okay, so now this is the Esper cycle meter ability. As you saw, it instantly defeated all of those. Okay, so now let me show you one for the chaos. Okay, so let me perform. It performs Scorch, right? As you saw right there.
Stick to the plan.
Now, so dealing damage in battles accumulate cycle rate, accumulate Esper 0 cycle rate. Okay, so we need to deal certain damage, basic attack. So now it's filled, right? Esper cycle. So we can perform Esper cycle. As you can see, whenever this gauge is filled, you can switch character to mint, and then Esper 0 will exit the field and trigger Esper cycle. So let me do that. So that was the blossom effect, right? As you see right here. And this is a blossom ability that is going on. Okay, so now that is the moment I've been waiting for, the parry attack. So whenever, as you can see, this red circle, outer circle matches the inner circle, right? So you need to like perfectly time this moment to execute a parry. So let me show you. As you can see, doing the parry instantly filled up some of the Esper cycle meter, right? So let me do it once again. As you can see, it completely filled up the Esper cycle meter. So doing parry will also help you to fill up the Esper cycle meter, right? So fill up the Esper cycle. Okay, so I was late there. So but you need to be like perfectly time. You need to perfectly time the moment to perform the parry, as you can see just right there. So you can also, whenever enemy is about to attack, you can select the skill to trigger a parry, as you can see. Now we can also perform the parry by calling the character exactly whenever that happens. Okay, so I was like a little bit quick. Okay, so let me show you once again. So now we can like call mint so that we can perform the Esper cycle as well as parry attack, right? Okay, so that was the Esper ability through the parry. As you can see, the blossom is in effect, and it is continuously dealing damage. So now it vanished, right? So let me exit the tutorial. So yeah guys, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. So I hope this clears all the doubt about the Esper cycle.
It's about time.
Yeah, I guess so. So right, so if you have like any doubts or confusion, you can like leave a comment below. I would try my very best to explain it to you guys, right? So and similarly, I have also uploaded the complete beginner's guide for the Neverness to Everness, so it link will also be in description below, as well as how to escape prison. So those two guides are down below in the description box, right? So now guys, one good news to share with you all is that I'm officially I have been like selected for to be a official content creator for Neverness to Everness. So you guys can expect a lot more guides, right? So guide, tips and tricks, gameplay, walkthroughs and all from me, right? So please stay tuned for all those. So I would be uploading all of them whenever I have that chance.
Interesting things.
Right, so and I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Okay, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video with another guide, another tips and tricks for the Neverness to Everness. Also please stay tuned for more Neverness to Everness content from now on. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Thanks and have a great day ahead. Goodbye.